Well, I want to thank you all. I am going to mute everybody. Sorry, I forgot to do that before we started. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm going to be talking about follow-up tonight only because we have had some major events with some of our new members or promoters over the last couple of months, and following up is something that our new promoters, they really need guidance and support in the beginning. And I feel that as a leader, it's important for us to even sit side by side. And that's what I did with Frances, because we had a stack of leads from an event that we did. And I couldn't have just said, here, you follow up with these people, because she just didn't know what to say and you know, how to do it, and not being familiar with the back office either. So Frances, I'm using you as an example tonight, because being fairly new to the business and a new manager and very close to being a senior manager, I think you're probably over 800 points already this month, which is fantastic. So congratulations. From just a couple of, I did mute you, Frances, so that's okay, because I'm recording, but I'll have you share after. But you know, the reason why I decided to host this event tonight was because we do have a lot of new promoters that need guidance in following up. And I have to say, for Frances's first time, so I went there and we did some emails first. We sat side by side. She did all the emails. And then yesterday, or Sunday, I guess, I went over and we got together, or Monday, and I sat beside her on the phone and we did some calling as well. And then because of the weather being bad yesterday, we decided to do three-way. So she had her list in front of her and we would call people and then we would bring us all in. And because it was bad weather, almost everybody was home. So we got through to people, which was kind of neat. So Frances could hear the conversation, hear what I said. And Frances, maybe you could share a little bit about what you learned yesterday, maybe a word of advice for some of the newer people that are going to be listening to this, because I think being a brand new to following up and connecting with some of your potential clients, maybe you can just share a little bit of insight. If you can unmute yourself, Hunks, I muted you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things I learned is that a lot of the people that we called, they really hadn't done much. It was actually just talking. Like, I really learned the importance of the follow-up call, because I expected that some of them would have been reading the stuff that we emailed to them, but they hadn't. It's like, oh no, I haven't got to it yet, and call me in 2 weeks after I get a chance to look at it. So I think if we hadn't made those calls, you know, they really wouldn't have really done much. You know, I mean, you know, I'm guilty of it too, putting things off. So I think it's just you know, our human condition that
Yes.
we really do need pushing. So, and they really weren't, it's not like they were upset to get a call from us. They were pretty open, right? I think they were happy to hear from us. It's just that they really hadn't, you know, done much after
Right.
the follow-up call is important.
Yes. Yeah. And then we gave them another time that we were going to connect with them again, when we asked them when they would have time to actually seriously take a look, and if they were still interested, right? Would they like to hear from us again? And they all were, which was kind of nice. So and you know, I have to say that through experience over the years, and many of us that have done shows over the years, and Frances, this is your first kind of experience. A lot of our business growth doesn't come necessarily from the shows. The one that you had the best success was people that you knew that came to your home where you presented, and they came on board, and some will come on board later because you've already built their trust. They've known you for a number of years. But when you're connecting with strangers, it does take time to build that trust, to build that friendship. The one young mom with the kids, and she seemed really interested. So just a matter of connecting, and we asked her if she wanted to be added to the group where she can receive weekly emails on all the health talks that we do. And she said, actually, and then she said, do I have to come on them all the time? I said, no. I said, we do different topics. Oh, she goes, so if there's a topic I'm curious about, then I can just hop on. I said, absolutely. I said, as long as you don't mind getting the weekly emails. She goes, no, that's great. Then I can just choose which events I wanna join in on. So, and Cindy's oh my gosh, she is like a queen of follow-up. And she actually even has signed up people from events. And I was sharing this with Frances sometimes for 5-7 years ago. And where she keeps dripping and she keeps following up and keeps touching base with people, because timing changes in people's lives. Okay. And that's why we have to, as leaders, be patient, right? I think that is the biggest key is patience, and don't expect too much right away, but expect something, communication, connection. And that's really important. So follow-up is really, really important. And I'm just going to go through some of the slides because it is the lifeblood of your business. It really shows you care, right? I think you said it, Frances, where some of them were like, kind of like, oh, you got this feeling that they knew we really cared about them. And building trust and friendships. And it's easier to maintain a good customer or a distributor rather than always working to find new people. So eventually when you get someone on board, that continual follow-up and the communication is a lot easier, okay? And it builds solid residual income, right? Especially when your customers are purchasing every single month. So why is it so many don't follow up? Well, first of all, fear of no, right? It's just in your head. So or people don't have time, no time, whatever you can consistently set aside. And I said to Frances, let's just do a power hour, make them short, see it as many you can do. And we decided an hour and a half because we were doing the 3-way calling. Sometimes there's just procrastination. People just procrastinate. It's a nature. Again, it's our nature to procrastinate. Now, 48% of people never follow up. 25% make the second call, and 12% make the third call. And these are stats. Okay. So that's why it's so important. 2% of sales on the first contact, 3% of sales are on the second, 5% the third, 10% the fourth. 80% of the sales are between the 5th to 12th contact. So there's your stats, Frances. So right now we've just connected with them once, right? So, and these are stats. Experts in the field have been doing this for years. They've been keeping track. And so it is worth following up if you're serious about your business, because once you start getting that a consistency and people constantly, using the products every single month, that's where the income continues to grow. So be persistent and be patient. So following up with new leads. So if you met somebody at a fair, a show, a social event, be sure to get their permission to connect with them by phone or email. And that's what we do at our shows. We say, are you okay if I send you this information? Can I contact you? They fill out some of the information, or they're watching you tick off some stuff. Now, if calling, you may want to try a few times. Some people use that star 67 to block so they can't see that it's you calling. I don't necessarily use that, but some people do. Okay. And if they have given you their phone number and email address, I find I have better success by phoning, because you do start to build that relationship. I have found wonderful friendships doing that. The email and the app is just sending them information. Okay. The actual phone call or even text message saying, hey, when is a good time to call you? Right. And they pick a time. It's that phone call when they hear your voice. And we practiced yesterday, and I have to share, Frances, So Frances was nervous, and I had her do one of the calls where she introduced herself and connected with the individual. And then after she hung up, I said, Frances, so I talked without smiling, and then I talked with smiling. And I said, can you tell if I'm smiling right now? She said, yes. And I said, can you tell if I'm smiling right now? She goes, yeah, no, I doesn't feel like you're smiling. So even though they can't see you, they can feel it. They can feel the I don't know, the energy. So make sure when you're calling people and you're following, put that smile on your face. Ace Francis, do you remember we did that little we kind of
Yeah.
practiced? Okay.
Mhm.
And then I
Yeah.
asked her to smile while she said a sentence, and I could tell she was happy. Okay. And not nervous, because I think when you're nervous, especially because you were making your phone calls for the first time, you were a little unsure, a little uneasy, but I could tell you weren't smiling. And the person on the other end of the phone can sense it. Okay. So that was a great little, I guess, what do you call it? Like a practice session, right? We had a great time doing that. So following up with customers and distributors, keeping the relationship going and continuing, you're caring. So when you first get somebody started, it's important to connect within 24 to 48 hours. So sending them information. Now, if they're starting new products, you definitely need to connect with them within 24 to 48 hours on them receiving their order. Okay. And then you follow up every month with your customers. It's critical, especially in the beginning. Okay. Are they enjoying their products? Are they getting results? Making sure they take their Pro Vitality with food. Encourage them to have a shake party or an in-home or like what we did was like an open house. Okay. If doing weight loss, you need to see that they understand the mini meals. I mean, sometimes I'll call people and they'll go, oh, is it okay if I have a muffin? And they forget, right? So it's really important that you connect with them to make sure that they read the foods to avoid and enjoy and be excited for their success. And now with the Proven 33, they're getting support from Neolife as well, but it's important that they're getting support from you too. And then send them events and health tips and special speakers when we have health talks, and ask them again to be invited to the email list where they get their weekly invites to the health talks. Especially, I have some people coming on, some men coming on that saw my post on Instagram. And my cousin actually reached out to me and said, my husband would like to come on your meeting. So you just never know who's watching, right? So don't be afraid to invite people to our health talks. Have an interest in their families, their lives, make notes, always make notes. I know that was one thing, Francis, when we were doing our talks, I said to you, write down what you said, what they said, how they reacted, because when you put that piece of paper away, you forget the conversation, because at this point there's just still a name. We can't always put a face to the name because we've met so many people that day, and sometimes you'll forget. Or there's certain people you don't, because you maybe they spent more time at the booth, but some of the people didn't linger and they filled the information and they left, so you forget what they look like. So it's important to write down the conversation, if they have kids, grandkids, any little thing that will remind you of who they were when they came to the booth. Okay. So with business builders, so for example, with your new promoters, you want to be in contact more frequently, and, weekly, daily, it really depends on how serious they are, to communicate with you. Set up a time that you both agree upon to connect on a regular basis. Keep their motivation up. When they get discouraged, and encourage them to come to events and bring guests, and encourage them to have their own shake parties again, and invite business to the business trainings, conference calls, all the social events, especially if they're local. It's important to connect and get together, even to meet for coffee and for tea. Like one of our new customers, Francis, when I met with Kate at Tim Hortons before you're in home, she was so happy just to sit and chat about her health issues and to get started on the product. She said, I really appreciate the one-on-one time. Some people just really appreciate the one-on-one time. Okay. Now I use a follow-up binder, and I do have a sheet for every person, so that when I'm out in the road and I want to make a phone call, I have it with me so I can write down our conversation, and I do keep them in a binder. Eventually, once your business starts to grow, it would be a good idea to get familiar with the Team Neolife in the back office. And those of you that are computer savvy, I know Heather, you're an expert. Heather did an amazing training for us on that, and I'm going to be playing a portion of that tonight. And that's available on my YouTube channel as well. So we're going to watch a little bit of Heather's training, Francis, so you can see the other tool other than a binder that we have for follow-up. Let me know if you can hear.
Okay, so here we are on the business training tonight, and Nada asked me to share how to use the Team Neolife training part of the back office to do follow-up with your members and promoters and new people. And so I'm just going to cover just a little bit out of that section in the back office called Team Neolife training. It's basically similar to the phone app that you have. That's the TNL app. And the one on the computer just has a little bit more functionality in terms of managing contacts. So that's what we're going to look at. So I'm going to share the screen. I don't think I need to share any sound, so I'll just do that. Okay, so how you find it, we weren't sure if there'd be anybody coming on who needs to actually know how to get into it. So this is my login page for getting into my website. So logging in. And then we have the menu across the top: home, my team, shop, orders, auto ship, reports, events, resources, account, and over here on the second line, and I say it that way because for some people it's all in one line, Team Neolife training. Okay, so I'm going to click on that, and that takes me into the Team Neolife training. And it automatically goes to the section called media. Across the top, we have 4 options for the menu. It's media, contacts, announcements, and business. Okay, so I'm going to focus mostly on contacts tonight, and we're going to take a scenario like you have a new person, you're going to add a new person, and you're going to put them into a folder. So we're going to manage contacts. Before I add the person, I want to have a folder set up so that in this first quarter of 2022, anybody who you have new that you want to add into your contacts, that you are going to be conversing with them, communicating with them, sending them information about Neolife. So I think it's a good idea, and I think Nada also does it this way. She puts a new folder. So once I have gone into manage contacts, I have my list down here of names of people that are already in there. And there's a training that you can look at the video on how to import contacts. I'm not going to do that tonight at all. We have some contacts in there. You can add one at a time as you meet people, but you're going to have a list of names here. So in the contact folders, I'm going to scroll down my page, take my scroll bar on the right, scroll down. You can see I have quite a number of folders. I have already made my folder that says new 2022 January March. So that's everybody in my first quarter this year that I meet as a new person. I don't have them in my contacts. I'm going to put them in, and I'm going to put them into this folder. If you want to create a folder that says new for February or whatever, down at the bottom of this left-hand side where all the folders are, I have quite a number of them, and there are some there by default in the app when you start. It says create new folder. So I can create new folder here. Pops up a little box that I can type, and I'm just going to put new 2022 February, March. We'll just put it that way. January is already done, so I'll just put this in. Save. Okay. So now I have in my folders list up here, (2022) January, March. It's going to be in there somewhere. February, March, February, that's last year. Maybe it's at the bottom. There it is. It's still down there at the bottom. 2022, February, March. So I have a folder. Now I've met a new person. So I'm going to put contact, manage contact. Oops, sorry. Add a new person. I meant add a new person. I'm going to add a person here. Okay. Now we have a blank form. I'm going to put this person's name in here. I'll just put my name. Okay. And so I put a person's name in with their contact number. Always remember, if you're putting in the phone number, the SMS, that's the phone number that is used for sending a text, and it always has to start with 1 if it's a North American number. Okay, so I just kind of, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go to the SMS phone, type my 1, and then just paste in my phone number. I just wanted to remind people, you need to put the 1 in the SMS phone number to indicate that's a text number, and that's, now you can use the app on your phone and it will find that text number if you want to text somebody something. Over here on the right hand side, we can add this person to a folder. Okay, so I'm going to click in there, and I know that I put a folder in there. It says new. As soon as I do that, it's going to pick everything up that has new in the folder name. And I'm going to put it in 2022, February, March. Okay, I'm just going to click that. So this person now has the information, the contact information. I have added them into my new folder. I can save and add a new contact. It just brings up another blank form, or I can just save this person. Okay. Oh, well, it's not going to do it because it says the contact with that email address already exists. So, but that was for demonstration purposes. Okay. So let's say I want to manage a contact. I've phoned somebody, or I just sent somebody an email, and I want to phone them and ask if they got it, have a little conversation. Okay, so I'm going to use NADA as an example. Now I'm going to go up to the search bar. Here's all my names here. There's a search bar up here, and I can put NADA. Okay, so now there's NADA. And on the right hand side, it says view. I will go right to view, or I could send an email, but I'm going to go view. This will tell me everything that has happened with that contact. Okay, back in 2020, we were doing stuff. And so she clicked on my website in April of 2020. I sent her the AutoShip loyalty program video. Okay. And then today I sent her an email with the image tray More Than Juice. I didn't type this in. It just happened because I sent her the email from the app. She did click on the email and she visited the site at 4:17. Okay, so now I'm going to record an activity here, because I'm going to say that NADA attended Okay, so on TNL. Okay, so this is something that I need to type in if I'm going to remember that NADA is participating this way. I just record the activity note, and you will see now in that activity list, there's the one that I just typed in. NADA attended the business training Zoom on TNL. Okay. So these other ones where I sent a video from the app, where she clicked on the image, where she clicked on the link, that automatically went in. I didn't type that. The app is managing that for me. Okay. And when I go to the TNL app on my phone and I look up the feed on my phone, you can't really see it, but I have it here. It says that today NADA visited the site, NADA clicked the link. I've got the image right there. It's showing Tray More Than Juice. Okay, that's all in there. So things that you do with the media in the app show up automatically. If you have a phone call, or they come on a Zoom, or they go on a training with you, or they have a question about something and you want to be sure to record that, remember it for your next time you call them, this is how you put it in. You record it in the activity here. Okay, right. Any question on that? Just unmute and say what's on your mind. I'm not going to cover a lot tonight because I want to just do a couple of sections so that you can then go and practice this week. Do some trying it. Okay. Now you'll notice what I did there. I'm using NADA as a test. If you want to try something out and say, well, I wonder what it looks like, you know, send it to yourself too. Make sure that you are in there in your contacts list, so you can send it to yourself and you can see what it looks like when your person, your contact, your member gets it. So that's a good little tip to know. Let's see, something else that we can do here. We want to go to contacts, manage contacts. Okay, now let's say I want to send, change my mind, I don't want to do it that way. I want to send, I want to go to the media. And I would strongly suggest that you spend some time browsing the media. There is a way to search on the media, but you need to know what the title of that particular item is, right? I know that there's a good video called The Breakfast Pack. Okay, or there's vegan protein if you want to send that to somebody. Let's say the breakfast pack. You want to take a look at it, use the eye. Similar to on the phone, you can view it or you can do something with it right away. So this then, you can see what time, it's 3 minutes and 29 seconds. So it's a nice short video. It's one of my favorite ones. I like to use this. And you can view it, just push on it and view it. Right? It's not so that's something that you can do. The other thing you can do is send it to somebody. So I'm going to share it. Share a video. This is the app now, the TNL. So you can email it to somebody. You can copy the link. So it's kind of like, this is redundant. Well, why would you copy the link if you can email it anyway? I sometimes copy the link and put it in my own Gmail if I'm composing an email on Gmail. And I'll go into that a little bit more next week, the difference. But let's just say I want to email this. So I'm going to select it. Right now it's opened up sort of just step by step. So contacts, I'm going to send it to Lynn. Whoops, Lynn. Okay, there's Lynn. I'm going to click her name. And you know what? I want to see what this looks like. So I'm going to click on my own name here too. I will point out here that my name actually shows another email, this heatherlacroix@mail.teamneolife.com. That's the email that shows as the sender. That's who sent it when you're sending it to a recipient. So it's not coming from my Gmail. It's coming from the Team Neolife app, the server, okay? And that's, you might even just make sure that you put that in an email to your best contacts and say, add this so that you will get my emails directly into your inbox. Otherwise it might land in promotions or spam or junk or something like that, because it's coming out of a different server. It's coming out of a mass server. So I've got 2 recipients there, and push continue. Here's my prompt, compose the email message. I've got 2 recipients. This email script, that is if you're going to use a template. I have a lot of templates already there. Maybe I could do welcome new member. Oh no, here, charged up in the info pack. So I've got a template there. I've already written this out. Hi, contact first name. Just got a couple of videos there, the breakfast pack and something. You can just type your own content. Right, if you don't want to use a script. Oh yeah, I guess it was somebody I did for walking on the trail. So I'm not going to use a script. I'm going to say none. The message subject is already in there, nutrition and wellness info. I'm just going to put, that's still attached to the script. I'm going to put breakfast pack. Whatever subject you want, and just say, here's the okay. So that's all you do on this one. You can create an email. You have to click the box down here that says, I agree to the anti-spam policy. And you send the message. Please and color. Oh, I guess I erased something.
You got rid of the video that you were going to attach? It was
Yeah,
there? Okay.
I erased it.
Okay. So go back.
So-
This is good practice for us.
I think it was 474. I think it needs the brackets.
Yeah, you need to put, can you go back maybe and show how you got the video again and then just embed
Yeah,
it again?
yeah.
Good practice for us if we, because we'll probably make that
That's
same mistake.
Email. I just used the back button to get there.
Mhm.
Trying to do too many things at once, that's why. Okay. Lynn, she's clicked. I think I should probably still be there. Yep, I'm still there. Continue. There. So the breakfast pack is in the subject. There's the video right there. I can type a little message. And I agree to the anti-spam policy and send the message. It pops up, successfully sent. It's only there for a fraction of a second, and you can see that it's sent. And Lynn should be getting that in her inbox. It's probably in my inbox. So what else were we going to do today? That's 7:22. So
Anybody have any questions on any of that?
I think that's a great start. I mean, Frances, I know this is the first time you're probably seeing this.
Yeah.
And so it just so that you know, like this was all recorded, and it took me a few times. And now Heather is a pro at this and she uses the system. And I know, I think this will be great for Frances because she's very, when do you use this system for follow-up? Yeah, Wen uses it. Excellent. Okay. And Joan, are you using it yet? Do you want to unmute yourself now? We can have a conversation now.
No, I don't.
Not yet.
I use
Okay.
my phone. Yeah.
Joan uses her phone. So that's what's so nice about the different ways. Find what works for you and just make sure you're consistent. That's the key to follow up. Find a system that you like, that you're going to keep at it. Okay. Virginia, are you using the binders? Follow up?
Binders, the
Using the
notebook.
binders? Yeah.
Mhm.
And I remember even Ashley, when she did her talk on follow-up, that was her big thing. It's just, she even does cue cards. She does everything on cue cards. I tried that, but it was too, I found I was losing them. It wasn't good for me to use little cue cards. So I find the big pieces of paper for me are better. And then having the computer as well with the back office. What's really nice is that whole system, Neil, like put that together for us to use, and it's all there. It's all there, just a matter of getting used to it. And there are little videos that explain the different sections on how to use some of that stuff. But I find hands-on, even though I've watched this a few times, I find that doing it, even the to-do part, there's a little section there where you put to-do, and then you can put that in there, and then you get a message the day of that you put that in there to follow up or to connect with that individual. You'll get a message on your phone, or you'll get an email saying, hey, connect with this person today. So you can
Can I
get
ask a question?
Sure.
So when you send an email through this, does it actually sync with your Outlook email? So does the email, no, it doesn't? Oh, okay. It doesn't appear in
No.
your regular Outlook.
No, and
Okay.
that is, sorry, Francis, that's something that, especially when you're first using it and you want to see what you've sent to different people, put yourself in as a recipient, because that is your record of the email that you sent them. Then you can put that into a folder that you might have for follow-up or something. Otherwise, in your own email, you can go to your sent folder and you can see what the emails were that you sent out.
Right.
But you don't get that through the Team
Oh.
Neo Life training. Okay, so
Okay.
that's why it's really good to put yourself in there. Or
Okay.
for myself, once I've created my templates and I can see that, oh, I sent an email using that template, I know what was in the template. And then, Nat, I'm really glad that you mentioned the to-do list, the to-do item, because I've actually started using that more than I did before. It's a really nice way to close the loop, as I like to say. I've given somebody a sample today. I need to go in there, say, yes, I gave them the sample. That's in the record activity, because there's no other way that I would know it, that I sent them that. And I put in a to-do item for tomorrow or the next day, whatever I've arranged with them, call so-and-so, ask how they like the sample. So it's a really nice, you can follow up on your follow-up.
Mhm.
Mhm. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, I think this was a reminder for many of us, even though we've been doing this for a long time. I know, Heather, you're just, you're such an expert in the field. So just really appreciate having that tool. And again, this was recorded, and we had that. I just played the recording that we did
Mhm.
way back, right, when we first started getting familiar with it, because I wanted to give you guys an option on what would be the best system for you guys. The key thing is find a system you like and make sure you do it so you don't forget about the people that you've connected with. Because I've done that where I've got little pieces of paper, put people's names in my pocket, in my jean jacket. I've met them somewhere and I put their card in my pocket, and I literally forgotten who they are, completely forgot the conversation. Months later, I go to get my jacket. Oh, that business card, that guy was really interested. I never followed up, because you start talking to so many people and it's so easy to forget. So just,
Mhm.
yeah, so just, we still make those mistakes. I don't want you to think that, you're not going to, but if you have a system and you're used to right away putting them in that system, there's less of a chance of you forgetting some of the people that are really, really interested. Okay,
Mhm. Yeah.
awesome. Any other tips or any other feedback, guys, before we sign off to head over to the other side? No,
Mhm.
awesome. Oh, Joan, are you on
Um,
tonight? Do you have any guests coming on at 8?
No, I'm sending you a text right now. Too.
Okay, no worries, no worries.
One more thing, just talking
Yes.
about booths and that, and especially for Francis, because a lot of your contacts came from a booth or a display or a show. That's a really good heading for a folder. So put
Oh.
them all into one folder so that you can refer to, like, you can send a general email. Obviously, you're going to be doing some individual ones too, but it's a really quick way to get them in there, do a quick general thing. Thanks for visiting my booth or whatever it was.
Right.
And, so use those folder names for whatever you want.
Mhm.
You have total control over that.
Right. Right.
And that's something we didn't do, Heather, and that's why I wish, I wish I was using that system more, because it would have been a lot easier for Francis. 'Cause I know, Francis, you would love that, because you're like Heather, you're very organized. And so I think that's a system that you would probably get really familiar with. And you probably start teaching me how to use it.
We'll see. Let's see. I need to learn it. Yeah, I'm really eager to learn
Yeah.
that. It's going
Yeah.
to be very helpful.
Yeah. And then there's another video that she's done that I recorded on YouTube that follows up to this. If you don't want to wait, I can send you the follow-up video from that presentation. 'Cause
Oh,
she did
okay.
it-
Yeah, sure.
She did it in 2 sections. So I'll send that to you. So this way
Yeah,
you can
thank
review
you.
both of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'm willing to have a quick Zoom call or something if there's one little piece of that whole system that you want some help with. I'm happy to
Okay.
help.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you,
I
Heather.
may take you up on that.
That's great. Thank you so much, Heather. Really appreciate it. Teamwork.
And I should have a guest on tonight at 8 o'clock. I need to text
Okay.
her as well.
Excellent. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a great night. And Heather, if you want to, I don't have anybody else helping me tonight. So if you do want to share at the end, just let me know. Like if you do want to
Okay.
participate, it's up to you. Because
Oh,
if you have a guest
okay.
on, sometimes it's good to have, if you want to. It's totally up to you. Just let
Yeah.
me know. If not, I'm going to be doing the whole thing.
Okay.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you,
I'll give
guys.
you a text. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, see you a little later,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.